Hello, and what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Big Discussions 76 Sports. We are a month away from kickoff for the 2024 season. That is Team 145 for the Michigan Wolverines. And this will be one of the last preview streams looking at the different position groups. Tonight, I'm going to talk a little bit about the offensive line, arguably the heartbeat of the modern Michigan football program, and also traditionally the heartbeat of the Michigan football program. Let me check something really quickly here. Let me make sure my audio is good. Yep, I have that microphone. Let me make sure I am broadcasting on YouTube. I don't intend to go long tonight. I have to go in the office and make the donuts tomorrow. And so hopefully I can get in and get out. Okay, so there is an ad. And there is me. All right, I am going to play my intro. And then I'm going to jump in and I'm going to say some things about the offensive line, the role it played in our national championship, and then who the projected starters are and the projected players are for Team 145. Please smash that like button. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel. I think I am 20 away from 1,400. All right. So I will see you all. Well, whoever watches this, whoever joins me, and whoever watches this on the playback, I will see you on the other side of the intro. Let's go blue. All right, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. This is Big Discussions 76 Sports. My name is Dr. Anwar Yusuf Dunbar, and I am a proud Michigan alum, and I am a proud supporter of our football program and Michigan sports in general, though most everybody pays attention to the football program. All right, so tonight, well, hey, thank you to everyone who watched my clip with Johnny Olden, the one about the Buckeye fans still hoping and praying that our national title gets ripped. Thank you to everyone who watched that and commented. And if you haven't, take a look. The entire live stream is back in my my library, and I will look to have Johnny come back before kickoff after I get back from vacation. Coach Antoine is here. Antoine, I've got something for you. I was looking at something on Twitter earlier, and I was thinking, oh, Antoine will love this. But give me a second, Antoine. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the offensive line tonight. And so in the next month, as they go through fall camp, we're all going to look to see for the official announcement for the quarterback, okay, for who's going to be QB1, but also we're going to be looking to see who the 5 starters on the offensive line will be. And as I was thinking about this stream, I was thinking that Coach Harbaugh, when he turned things around after that dreadful COVID season, one of the things that solidified was the offensive line. And shout out to Buckeye Alex. Antoine, your buddy Alex hasn't been around here for a while. Maybe he'll come back during football season. But that was one of the things that Alex used to say about our football team before the COVID year was, we don't know. Well, he would say, I don't know what Michigan's identity is. Okay, are we a straight passing team? Are we a read option team with Shea Patterson? Are we going to be a Joe Milton team with the big Superman quarterback with the arm and the size? Or are we going to be a traditional Michigan running team? And it turned out that post-COVID, once JJ got under center, we turned into a hybrid Michigan running team with a highly talented quarterback who could throw darts and throw those balls on a rope and make the big plays. And but the turnaround was in part due to the solidification of that offensive line and its ability to exert itself, paving the way for Hassan Haskins, Blake Corum, and also Donovan Edwards, and in some instances, Khalil Mullings. Okay, so there we are. So that's a little intro to that. And Michigan football traditionally has been strong on the offensive line. I'm thinking back to when I got to Michigan, that was Tom Brady's last year. You had Jeff Backus, Steve Hutchinson, and I think on the national championship team 2 years earlier, John Jansen was on that offensive line. And then just I'm thinking about some names towards the end of the Lloyd Carr tenure. I'm thinking about guys like Tony Pape. I'm thinking about guys like Dave Boss. I'm thinking about Jake Long, right? And then I think Rich Rod recruited Taylor Lewin. Let me say it correctly. But then for Jim Harbaugh's and Brady Hoke was never able to build a nice, stout, solid offensive line. And then Jim's first 7 to 8 years, I think that was part of the problem, is that he didn't have a nice, stout offensive line like the one he had the last 3 years. And that's in part why the team just couldn't get over the hump for those first 6 to 7 years. Okay, but what kind of offensive line is Team 145 going to have? Why don't I I'm gonna do the Antoine's inspiration. I'm gonna try to weave in some more recruiting. So I'm just gonna go over really quickly some guys who are on the offensive line who are a part of the 2024 recruiting class. So I'm gonna show this really quickly, and then I'm gonna move on. So this is entitled all right. Right. So top 5 offensive line recruits for Michigan in the 2024 class. This is over a year ago. But Donovan Harbour, Gorby Lambert, Andrew Sprague, Blake Frazier, William Satterwhite. Okay, so those are guys who were recruited for this year's class. So I'm going to bring that one down and get rid of that. And just taking a look at the 2025 class, please smash that like button if you haven't. I thought there was another offensive lineman in the 2025 class, but according to this, there's just one. So for the 2025 class, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. Let me close that. Okay, and I closed the wrong piece. Give me a second here. These are all by Mays and Brew. There we go. Michigan football 2025 commits. All right. Please smash that like button if you haven't. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. All right. Michigan football's 2025 commits. So out of this current group, the only offensive lineman here is Avery Gatch, 6'5", 290 pounds. He's a 4-star. Okay. And he is from Franklin, Michigan. I'm gonna go through this really quickly just to see in case I've missed someone. I thought they had someone else, another kid. Caden Strayhorn, interior offensive lineman, 6'2", 6'2.5", 285 pounds. Okay, he's a 3-star. Okay, he's from IMG Academy in Bradenton, Florida. Okay. I believe that's what IOL is. Okay, so before I go over this short piece on the Wolverines 2024 offensive line, I'm just going to take a quick look at the statistics from last year, because the offensive line played a critical role in what we saw for Team 144. So, Team 144, okay, let's see. They generated 121 rushing first downs, 159 rushing. I'm sorry, 159 passing first downs. Okay, I'm going to get to some of the more meaty stuff. So on the ground last year, Michigan gained 2,766 yards, right, for an average of 4.5 yards per carry. Michigan averaged 169.1 yards on the ground per game, and Michigan scored 40 rushing touchdowns. And in terms of the passing game, Michigan, let's see, where are the overall passing stats? Yeah, so it looks like Michigan threw for 3,205 yards, okay, and scored 24 passing touchdowns, and they averaged 213.67 yards through the air per game. Okay, now that is with JJ McCarthy. That was with a veteran offensive line. That was with a group that had been together for a number of years, so they had that chemistry. They knew each other. All right, so continuity counts for something. You had a first-round NFL quarterback calling the play, calling the signals. Okay, throwing those darts on a rope. Okay, and you had 2 veteran wide receivers out there. Okay, Cornelius Johnson and Roman Wilson. Okay, this year the running back room we're gonna have pretty much the same running back room aside from Blake Corum leaving, but the rest of the group is pretty much turned over. We're gonna have a new quarterback, we're gonna have a new offensive line, and we're gonna have some younger wide receivers out there on the edges. Colston Loveland will be back, and we'll have some newer tight ends playing opposite him. But the offense is gonna, from what we're predicting, and from what's being predicted, based upon Alex Orji's skill set, he's projected to be the starter. This is predicted to be a more run-heavy offense. And so Alex Orji's success, and also Donovan Edwards' success, Khalil Mulling's success, all of their success is going to be predicated or greatly impacted by who starts on the offensive line and how well these 5 guys gel. So, Antoine, I don't know if you're still there, but I was looking at this earlier over on the X sphere, and I said, oh boy, Antoine will have a gander of this. So this is Antoine is an advocate for the RPO, okay, and we are probably going to see a lot of this year, okay. Antoine, I imagine you lay in bed at night thinking about this RPO, thinking about Alex Orji running. This is Alex Orji's second half run against the Ohio State Buckeyes. Fair use, YouTube. Fair use, fair use, fair use. Okay. Fair use. Okay. There's Alex breaking off that big run against the Buckeyes. Again. Three times. Fair use, fair use. Fair use, YouTube, fair use. All right. So, Antoine, you be proud of me. You would be proud of me. I did some study today. Okay, I did some study today. And as I was thinking about this, since I will be talking about the offensive line, I thought about Al Borges and those films, those very, very brilliant film study sessions he would do with Sam Webb and the Michigan Insiders. And I started thinking about, okay, pin and pull and also duo. Pin and pull and duo. All day I was thinking about pin and pull and duo. Now, I can't do this justice the way that Al Borges would, or maybe even Antoine would, but I thought we'd just spend a few minutes talking about what the pin and pull is and what the duo is. So, Antoine, please correct me if I misspeak. So let's go back to this beautiful run by Alex Orji here. All right, because I think this is an example of the pin and pull. Whoa. Let's Toast Media says your volume's out. Can you guys still hear me? Can you guys still hear me? Let me make sure I can see myself on YouTube. Let me make sure YouTube didn't take my stream down. Okay, no, they didn't. Can you guys hear me? Because I'm not going any further. Can you hear me now? Yes, no, maybe. Thank you, Antoine. All right, so I'm going to bring up Antoine's favorite play again here. So pin and pull. Okay, and I spent a lot of time looking at this today. And at first I thought, okay, so you see Drake Nugent there, number 60, right? He's the center, so he snaps the ball to Alex Orji. And then you see number 77, Trevor Keegan, run across there. And then I thought number 73 was initially Trevor Keegan, but that is Miles Hinton. So Trevor Keegan and Miles Hinton run across there. Okay, the rest of the players are going the other way. But Miles Hinton makes a nice block on this kid right here from Ohio State. And boom, opens up that hole for Alex Orji. And Alex Orji is off to the races. So this is an example of number one, Alex Orji scrambling. I don't. Is this the read option? Yep, that's the read option. That's the read option, Antoine. But also, it's an example of the pin and pull. Fair use, YouTube. Fair use. Fair use. Because you have those two offensive linemen sprinting across and opening up a gaping hole for Alex Orji. Now, we saw this as well. We also saw this on Blake's game-winning score against Alabama. Let me see if I have that up. Because on that particular play, it was Karsten Barnhart. You could see him running across the line and then going into the second level and then paving the way or helping to clear the way for Blake. So give me a second here. I have this queued up. Okay. Pin and pull. Pin and pull. I actually am an X's and O's guy. I just happen to be a basketball guy. But I do enjoy the X's and O's of football. But I realized, you know what, Antoine, I realized, man, I was watching a workshop from some coach in North Dakota, and it's amazing that, I mean, most coaches, whether it's basketball or football, they go to camps, and they sit and learn. But just listening to some of these coaches sit down and talk about what they call these things and what they emphasize when they teach the kids. People who don't know football think it's just a barbaric sport. My mother used to say that, but there's a lot of, your offensive linemen have to be smart. I mean, all your football players have to be smart, but your offensive linemen particularly have to be smart and intelligent guys, in addition to being big and strong and athletic. All right. So Blake Corum's beautiful game-winning touchdown against Alabama. All right. Pin and pull. Let me go back. Fair use, YouTube, fair use. So you see JJ catch the ball here. He hands it off to Blake, and there you see number 52. I think that's Barnhart. You see him running across. The other guys have their linemen blocked, and then boom, Barnhart runs through that hole there. Blake follows him. Boom, Barnhart ties with that linebacker, and then Blake runs through. Okay. So part of Michigan's bread and butter last year was the pin and pull. Okay, and Borges talked about that. Gorgeous Borges talked about that quite a bit. So duo. Antoine, thank you for letting me know. I'm not going to go too much longer tonight, but I also started thinking about duo. Duo, because Borges talked about duo quite a bit. So let's take a quick look at what a duo play is, because we'll probably see quite a bit of this. And I think Donovan, for the most part, ran the duo plays. Okay, I think Blake ran both. Blake got the majority of the carries, but Donovan was the one who ran, for the most part, these duo plays. Okay, so Donovan, for most of when Donovan finally started getting off towards the end of the year, and we saw this in the spring game as well, Donovan would usually start, and he'd cut, and he'd run somewhere. Okay, and I believe those were mostly duo plays. I don't have his Penn State plays queued up here, but I do have his second touchdown in the national title game against Washington queued up. So let me bring this up. Pause that. So the duo, let me just do this really, really briefly. So the pin and pull, you have the offensive lineman pulling from one side to the other, opening up holes. The duo, you have two offensive linemen pinching in on individual linemen, right? And then you have another offensive lineman picking up another lineman or a linebacker, and I think that the tight end picks up somebody. But when that happens, this is where the running back's vision comes in, because the running back usually is reading that linebacker or that safety, and that dictates if that running back is going to go into that A gap or that B gap. Okay, and that's where Blake was really good, because he could do those jump cuts. He could see where the linebacker was going. He could do those jump cuts and run around and run out. Donovan was really good because he would start, and then he was able to start, stop, and then depending upon where things were going, he'd be able to bounce it out really good and really effectively. He did that against Penn State, and we saw him do that against Washington. So that's the pin and pull. So that's the duo. When you're thinking about duo, think about two offensive linemen pinching in on one defender. Okay, hence the name duo. All right. So this is Donovan surprising all of us and punching Washington in the mouth to start the national championship game. Okay. Fair use, YouTube. Fair use, fair use. Okay, so they slow it down for us here. So you can see there's, I think that's Hinton. There's Colston Loveland. And there's Carson Barnhart. Fair use, fair use. Fair use. Boom. Boom. So you see that right there? That's the duo. That's two offensive linemen. They're blocking that one defensive lineman. Okay, and then Donovan, he's going to run up, and then he's going to cut it out, And then Colston Loveland is blocking a linebacker, I believe, on this run. And for his first touchdown, he did it on the other side as well. Okay. Let's Toast Media says, agree. Yeah, this is our bread and butter. Okay. But I think, yeah, you really, and this was one of the things Johnny criticized Donovan on. Now, Donovan was hurt early last year and he wasn't getting the majority of the snaps. Blake was, but it was his vision. It seemed like he was just kind of running into the line and not letting the play develop. So the running back needs to let that play develop, and he has to have the vision to see where to run and also to read what those linebackers and safeties are doing. So let's go back to it. Shout out to Gorgeous Borges. Okay, so there it is. Boom. And then Colston Loveland has that block out there. Okay, and then Donovan is off to the races. Let's see if they slow it down for us again. So there's JJ handing it off to him. That's a traditional handoff. Running away. In other instances, the quarterback kind of drops it in there like it's a piece, like it's a loaf of bread, but he handed it off to him. All right, there. And then boom, there you see the two offensive linemen on that one defensive lineman. Okay. And then Donovan turns and cuts and turns it upfield. Okay. So duo and pin and pull. So look for more of this year. Sharon Moore is no longer the offensive line coach. Grant Newsome is, but I don't see why they would depart from what worked so well for them last year and the year before that. See, now I'm curious to see which runs those were against Penn State. I think they were probably those duo plays again against Penn State. Anyway, who are the 5 offensive linemen going to be for this season? Because we lost that senior veteran group to the NFL draft last year. Last year we had Trevor Keegan and Zach Zinter and Karsten Barnhart and Drake Nugent, who transferred in. So who's going to be in next year's group? I do know for sure that Miles Hinton is back. Okay. All right. Michigan spring ball preview offensive line. Now, this is a few months old. And the thing about the spring game, for those of you who watched the spring game is not going to, you're not going to see the best offensive line play because, they draft. The teams are put together via a draft, quote unquote. And to see really good offensive line play, players usually have to play a number of games together and in order to get in rhythm with one another and also to gel. So that's when this one was written. This was written by NJ Durand on February 23rd. Okay. So there are some players there. I think that was probably against Indiana or Nebraska. Michigan's offensive line was the recipient of the Joe Moore Award in both 2021 and 22, earning the status as the nation's best. In 2023, we saw the group take a slight step back, but it was still one of the better units in the entire country. The group was led by stalwarts Zach Zinter, 6'5", Zach Zinter, and Trevor Keegan. Wow, I remember when these guys, before the COVID year, I remember when they came in. I remember reading their bios for the COVID year, along with other guys like Chuck Filiaga. All right. The group was led by stalwarts Zach Zinter and Trevor Keegan, who have started up front for a few years. There were also experienced veteran transfers like Drake Nugent, Ladarius Henderson, to help solidify things. Drake Nugent and Ladarius Henderson to help solidify things. Not to mention Karsten Barnhart and Trente Jones also served as key contributors. Okay. Yeah, I think when Zach Zinter went down, Trente moved into the starting lineup. And Borges really liked Trente. All right. In 2024, Michigan brings back none of them. Luckily, Sharon Moore is still here to lead the way for the new starters, though, right? Well, that job now belongs to 26-year-old Grant Newsome, who takes over as the offensive line coach. So much for consistency. All right. Certainly, this is certainly something that could give fans some pause, but there are still some things to be excited about. Let's start with the aforementioned Newsome. We've heard former head coach Jim Harbaugh rave about Newsome, mentioning he has an extremely bright future in the coaching industry. He's also been part of Michigan's program since 2015, meaning he already fits the culture. That combination of football acumen and culture fit leads to a great foundation for the new offensive line. Many folks saw Sharon Moore's ability to keep Newsome around as a big win, and hopefully it will pay off. For those of you who don't remember, Newsome was one of Coach Harbaugh's prized recruits, and he blew his knee out against Wisconsin, which is why all Michigan offensive linemen now have to wear those knee braces. All right. For the players themselves, there's some optimism to go around too. Back in the summer prior to the start of the 2023 season, Zinter, Keegan, and Drake Nugent were already seen as starters. After that was anyone's guess, but there was a good feeling since there were so many solid options. Offensive line, I look at 10 guys right now that are starter caliber, said Jim Harbaugh at Big Ten Media Day in July. While six of those guys are gone, there are still some guys in Ann Arbor, like center Greg Crippen, guard Giovanni El-Hadi, and tackle Miles Hinton, who we just saw blocking for Alex Orji. We've been hearing positive things about Crippen the last few seasons, entering his senior year. It looks like he should take the reins at center. There should be some optimism around him, considering he's now had 3 seasons to get acclimated to the college level. He's also had the chance to learn behind Drake Nugent and Olu Oluwatimi, 2 all Big Ten selections. Kicking out to the guard spots, El-Hadi and Northwestern transfer Josh Preeb look to be the leaders in the clubhouse. El-Hadi has also had plenty of time to get acclimated in the system and even made 3 starts at left guard in 2022. He's impressed in short periods of time he's been on the field, and will look to make the jump as a full-time starter. Preeb, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Preeb or Preeby will look to continue Michigan's trend of finding good offensive linemen in the transfer portal. He'll bring more experience to the table. Than any lineman on Michigan's roster, and has impressed in his time. He'll be relied upon to anchor the line and be the leader for the younger and less experienced guys in the room. At the tackle spots, it looks like Hinton and Andrew Gentry should be the favorites. Gentry doesn't have the biggest body of work, as he has played sparingly in his 2 seasons in Ann Arbor. He did see time at some different spots along the line in 2023, including 3 games at right tackle in mop-up duty. Hinton, on the other hand, came into the 2023 season as a candidate to start. He ended up losing his starting spot to Ladarius Henderson, and Trente Jones got the nod over him when Zinter went down late in the year. While Hinton might not have lived up to expectations a season ago, he does have experience and should take a step forward. Meanwhile, Michigan still has guys like Jeff Percy, Raheem Anderson, Tristan Bounds, Connor Jones, and Dominic Guides to battle it out for spots on the depth chart. When looking at the things on the surface, it's easy to panic, but it's easy to see Michigan's offensive line situation might not be as dire as it may seem when you dive a bit deeper. Nobody should be asking this unit to go out and win another Joe Moore award, but the players and coaches are there to put a respectable product on the field. All right, that's that. Those are the players. That's our potential offensive line for Team 145. So it's going to be a younger team, a younger group. It's going to it's probably going to take a little bit of time for them to gel, and for Sharon and Grant Newsome to pick that starting unit. Hopefully they all stay healthy. But the good news is that we have that defense coming back. So typically, if you have a strong defense, yeah, they can carry the team for a little while, or they can support the team for a little while as the offense starts to find its rhythm. So I think that's what we're going to see this year, especially with the new starting quarterback. And also, yeah, that these guys are going to play a huge role in how Donovan Edwards and Khalil Mullings and that group, how they do. So that's the offensive line. Let me run through the schedule really, really quickly. We are a month away from kickoff. I do plan to go up for at least one game, maybe two. I don't know which one that will be yet. As you know, Michigan is currently ranked number 10 in the country in multiple polls. I think that's fine. I think that's good. Better to be underestimated and then to over deliver, as opposed to being overestimated and then not delivering. So I think that's a good spot for us to be in. So I'm going to run through the schedule really, really quickly, and then I'm going to wind the stream down. All right, the 2024 schedule. Michigan hosts Fresno State on August 31st. Okay. And then the next game after that is a big one with Texas coming in. Quinn Ewers will be playing quarterback for Texas. So, yeah, Michigan's not starting with 3 cupcakes this season. So that's going to be a big game. Texas in the big house in the fall. Arkansas State will be after them. Michigan will host USC on September 21st. Okay, Minnesota comes to Ann Arbor on September 28th. And then Michigan goes out to Seattle to play Washington. That looks like an intriguing game to go to. That's a fun place to go. Seattle, Washington. Let's see, Illinois. Michigan goes to Illinois on October 19th. Michigan hosts Michigan State on October 26th. Michigan hosts Oregon. That's going to be another big game. Okay. Dan Lanning and the Oregon Ducks. Michigan goes down to Bloomington to play Indiana. Michigan hosts Northwestern. And then Michigan goes back down to the Snake Pit to try to make it 4 in a row against the Ohio State University. Yeah. So it's and then the Big Ten championship game is on December 7th out in should be Indianapolis. Yep, Indianapolis and Lucas Oil Field. So yeah, it's a 12-team playoff this year. So I don't think Ryan Day wants to lose to Michigan yet again, but it's a different setup than in previous years. So everyone, that's all I've got. I just wanted to do something on the offensive line before doing the running backs room, and then I think I'll wait until the starter. I'll wait till QB1 is announced by Sharon Moore and the offensive staff, but that won't come until sometime in August. I want to thank Antoine and Let's Toast Media for hanging out here for as long as you guys have hung out. If you're watching on the playback, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel, especially if you are new. If anyone, you're under no pressure to do so, but if anyone wants to make a donation to the channel, my Cash App and PayPal are here, and you can leave a super thanks if you see fit. as you watch the playback, if you see fit. So with that, everyone, I'm going to wrap this up. Antoine, you be safe out there on the road. Antoine, let's take one more look at the run pass option, the Alex Orji run pass option, as we will be seeing lots of that this year. All right, the Alex Orji run pass option. Twice. Fair use, YouTube. Fair use, fair use. And that is, yeah, that's Khalil Mullings in the backfield with Alex Orji, and that's Samaj Morgan running across for that that fake. Boom. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Fair use, YouTube, fair use. All right. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your night. As always, well, go blue. As always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Always try to do your best. Take care, and I will talk to you the next time. If you're watching this on the playback, please let me know what you think in the comments section below. Go blue.